Question 2. Organisms display a wide range of feeding mechanisms. So we're into our nutrition topic. For example, amoeba are holozoic. Hopefully you remember what holozoic means. And they feed by ingesting food particles which are digested intracellular. Intra means within. Whereas fungi are saprotrophic. And define saprotrophic. So again, AO1, just give us that definition. So enzymes are secreted outside of the body. Or outside of whatever it is. I'll put body, but it's a fungus. And the products of digestion are then absorbed, and the products of digestion are absorbed, and that's, put in brackets there, extracellular digestion. Extra meaning outside of cellular digestion. So that's 1 mark. Part B gives you a bit of blurb about Tanea the tapeworm, and we've revised that. You've watched a nice video on tapeworms, and it's just saying it lives in the intestine and gives a bit more information about it, and it relies on anaerobic respiration. Part 1, describe how the tapeworm is adapted to resist peristalsis in the human intestine. Hopefully you remember peristalsis, which is the bowel muscles, or the gut muscles, contracting to push food along. And this is just AO1, tell us something about the tapeworm. That means it doesn't get swept along. So you can come up with hooks and suckers. And they enable the tapeworm to attach to the gut wall. To attach to gut wall. So straightforward. The next 2 marks are also AO1, just recall information. So why doesn't it need a mouth or kind of digestive system, alimentary canal? And that's because the tapeworm just absorbs food across its body surface. There's 2 marks are there, so we need to think of what a digestive system would normally do. It would digest and absorb. So we need to cover these 2 things. So the food is pre-digested by the host. So the food is pre-digested by the host, and then we can say the nutrients are just absorbed across the body surface. So nutrients are absorbed across the body surface. So that's explaining we don't need a mouth because we don't need to take food in and digest it because it's pre-digested, and we're just going to absorb across our body surface. Part 3, suggest. So this is going to take our knowledge and kind of apply it to a new situation. Suggest why the tapeworm relies on anaerobic respiration, so respiration without oxygen. And why does anything do anaerobic respiration? Well, possibly because the oxygen levels are too low for aerobic respiration, and we still need to generate ATP energy. So one possible reason would be oxygen levels are too low. So oxygen levels in the gut are very low. Another possible thing you could suggest is that you can get away with anaerobic respiration because this tapeworm isn't doing a lot of moving, got a low metabolic rate, that sort of answer. But go for the obvious. Oxygen levels are very low. Part C, we've got a diagram showing a section of a tapeworm's body wall. Some of this information is new to you, but you need to relate it to knowledge that you know. So that makes it AO2. So the 4 marks, these are going to be AO2. Describe and explain. So we need to divide up our answer. How the adaptations visible in the diagram enable the tapeworm to survive. So it's giving you everything that you need here. So let's go for things that you should know about. You know about a thick cuticle on a tapeworm. So really, this is just your recall of knowledge, and you know what to say because it's given you in the diagram. And we describe it and explain it. Okay, so thick cuticle, and that's it describing. Now we're going to explain. Protects the worm from the effects of, for example, acids or enzymes. So protects the tapeworm from, for example, acid, alkali, or digestive enzymes. And that's going to be one of our marks. There's actually 5 things that you could say here, but you only need to say 4. Let's go for something else. We've got something called a lime cell. It says producing alkaline secretion. One thing that's alkaline will neutralize an acid. So, and acids are produced, for example, in the stomach. So this is protecting from the acids produced in the stomach, neutralize them, and then the tapeworm will be able to live in those conditions. So the lime cell which secretes alkali, and we can say that neutralizes acid from the stomach. So we've come up with 2 so far. Let's have a look. What else have we got? We've got something up here. Microtriches. I don't even know what I'm saying that right. But we've got in brackets there microvilli. And you've met microvilli before, and they're there to increase surface area. And it looks like a brush border that you've met in various places. So let's say that microtriches or microvilli. What do? They increase surface area. But always say surface area, don't say SA or anything like that. You need to say the full thing, surface area. And what's it doing? Well, we're digesting products of digestion across this wall. So to absorb digested food. So that's our 3rd point out of 4. We're still going here. Let's have a look at glands producing mucus. So let's say these glands, these secrete mucus. So that's our description. Why will that help? Well, that protects. So a layer of mucus on the top here will protect against those enzymes again. So protection against digestive enzymes. So we said 4 things there, so we're happy. I'll give you the other thing you could possibly say. You could have possibly talked about these these mussels, and they help the worm move to increase contact with the digestive food. We probably haven't talked much about that, but these enable the tapeworm to move to increase contact with digestive food. So mussels allow tapeworm to increase contact with digested food. So just like your villi in your intestines move to always be in contact with food. So those are all AO2. Part 2 at the bottom, the body wall cells of a tapeworm is observed to contain transmembrane proteins involved in active transport. Okay, so we're going back to the core, membranes and transport topic. Suggest, so again this is, is it AO2, is it AO3? How these mechanisms aid the survival of the parasite within the host. So the mark scheme is suggesting this is AO3, so I'm analysing the information. So how are we going to relate transmembrane proteins and active transport? Well, where have you met that before? Perhaps in digestion, you've got a bit of active transport going on to help absorb some ions or glucose. You remember co-transport. So that could be our suggestion there, and then we need to squeeze 2 marks out of that. So let's say allows absorption of ions. You might remember glucose, amino acids. So you've met those being actively transported by co-transport in the gut. So this is just another example. And why do we need active transport? Well, if you think of the table that you draw when you do all your different types of transport, one of the things that you always say is whether it's with the gradient or against the gradient. So this is against the concentration gradient, and that's 11 marks.